I wanted to make this video about the spiritual ego, and this is because I have recently seen quite a lot of people online in the spiritual community with spiritual egos. And I had dealt with some comments from these people, and so this is why I wanted to make a video, just to talk about it, let people be aware of it so that you don't fall into these ego traps. An example of a spiritual ego is where you've had this awakening and you're looking down at the people who haven't had their awakening yet. I know someone that was like this in my physical reality, and he would refer to the people that haven't had an awakening as the 3D people. Oh, they're a 3D person. And that is, a judgmental comment. That's like he's sitting up on this pedestal looking down at the people that haven't had awakenings yet. And the irony is he doesn't realize that his mindset is a 3D mindset. One thing I've learned with spirituality is it's about overcoming our ego and learning to operate from the soul instead. And so that requires us to work on our ego, to heal our ego through doing shadow work. And I work on my ego quite a lot, but I'm not perfect. I haven't fully overcome my ego, but I'm very aware of it. I do a lot of, shadow work. Whenever my ego's getting triggered, I'm aware my ego's just been triggered and I work with it. If I get in positive comments on my videos, sometimes people will say, "Oh, you're so inspiring." And I think, that's a really nice comment, but I don't let it feed my ego. I'm not like, "Oh yeah, I am inspiring, aren't I?" Whenever I have a positive comment like that, I straight away tell my ego, stay humble. And that's because I don't want to show up online as, someone teaching these spiritual ideas and operating from a spiritual ego myself. I'm going to share a comment I got online recently that inspired this video. I actually had a couple, but I don't want to share, everything that I've been seeing. So I'll just share this one example. There was someone online that was just asking about, when the Great Awakening started. And I said it started in 2003. And then someone else got triggered by me giving that date, and they commented, "Who told you that date? I had my awakening in the 80s. And I thought, wow. I said, Dolores Cannon was the one that gave us that date. Dolores Cannon is the face of the Great Awakening. Her hypnotherapy work is one of the main sources for this information. And then I pointed out that the date 2003 wasn't the date for when people are going to have a spiritual awakening. It was the date for when the mass awakening started. Mass being the key word. So we're, at the moment, what's going on the planet is we're experiencing a mass awakening. It's like the snowball effect. A lot of people are just waking up one by one every single day. And it's like that snowball effect where it's just going to keep happening. That's what the date was about. But this person got triggered by that because I've been awake since the 80s. And I was like, wow. Because I thought, well, if you've been awake since the 80s, you've been awake for 40 years, you're still operating from the ego and being triggered. And, one of the things I've learned about spirituality is it's about overcoming our ego. So we're not operating from the ego and we're operating from our souls instead. And that's why it's really important to do, the inner work, the shadow work, and the healing. So I just wanted to make a video, just be aware of that. Other examples of having a spiritual ego and falling into these ego traps, vegans are a good example for this. And I'm not, sorry if you're a vegan, and I know not all vegans are like this, but there are vegans out there who look down at people that eat meat. So vegans are sitting up on their pedestal, judging people for eating meat. Spirituality is about not judging people. Spirituality is about not looking down at people and thinking you're superior to another human being. Because at the end of the day, we're all the same. We're all connected as one. We all come from the same place. No one person is better than another. And so that's one example of like falling into the ego trap. Another example could be you've had your awakening and you've decided you don't want to drive a car anymore because you don't want to pollute the planet. So you choose to maybe bike or walk as your transport. And then you start doing that, and then you start judging people for driving. So it's not, we can't be judging others. We've got to stop that type of behavior. And if you do find yourself judging people, because none of us are perfect, we're all on this journey to, work on ourselves. But if you do find yourself judging others, that is your shadow that's coming up. So that's why I recommend doing shadow work. When you're judging someone, that's your shadow. You do the shadow work, you find out where that's coming from, you heal it, and then you resolve that behavior of judging others. And it's really important to keep yourself grounded. And one of the things for me is just, that's helped me with this is just being aware of your own ego, questioning it when you have been triggered, doing the work to heal it, and applying spiritual practices that just keep you grounded, like meditation or earthing, things like that. One person that's really inspired me with working on my ego, because like I say, I'm not perfect. Like I've been working at it so that I'm improving and I'm getting better over time, but I'm not perfect. I haven't fully overcome my ego yet. But one person that inspires me is Dr. Wayne Dyer. I love that guy. And he overcame his ego. And he's got this really chill vibe about him. I love his chill vibe. And so he inspires me to work on myself so that I can get into that chill vibe like he's been able to do for himself, right? And so it's like if someone disagrees with him, he's like, that's all right. Like he doesn't get triggered. The ego's not being triggered like, well, I know better. I'm always right, because that's the ego. The ego's always got to be right. But he's just like, even if he is right and the person's disagreeing, he's just like really chill, like, that's all right. I was like, wow, that's a powerful place to be, So I'm very inspired by him. If you don't know who Dr. Wayne Dyer is, he's a spiritual teacher, and I highly recommend, searching him up, watching some of his content, and you'll see what I mean about his like cool little vibe he's got going on. And yeah, so I'm very inspired by him, and I just wanted to make this video just so people can be more aware about the spiritual ego and not falling into these ego traps, because no human is better than another. We're all the same, and we all need to just be loving and compassionate towards each other. I hope you liked this video and you got some sort of value, and if you did, just let me know by hitting the like button or write a comment. If you like this sort of content, make sure you subscribe and hit the bell notification. Have an awesome day. Peace.